Hello, welcome to Scrap Time episode 1037. My name is Christine and on today's episode I am showing you the Dylusions paint from Ranger. Today I am showing you the new Dylusions paint. It comes in about 12 colors and they coordinate with the Dylusion sprays. So you have Vibrant Turquoise, Squeezed Orange, Postbox Red, London Blue, Fresh Lime, Bubblegum Pink, and Lemon Zest. And Diane also has a new book, Distinctly Dylusional, a guide to art journaling. And inside, you get some information, what's a background, color theory, cool and warm. And then she has the different techniques that she does, building layers. And she has step-out pictures showing you how to do some different techniques. And there's techniques for her sprays, as well as she has some for her paints. And so she shows you this technique with a baby wipe, and I'm going to show you how to do that technique. But the book is filled with a variety of techniques to use all her different products. And then down here it's stamps and stencils. So it's a lot of really great information. Collaging. So I'm going to work on just a watercolor card and we're going to be doing the baby wipe technique. So I have a baby wipe. I'm going to start with a yellow background. Now you'll see that these paints are very fluid. Now what Diane suggests is, when you're doing this technique, to put your paint upside down. And now I have some paint on my lid, and I'm going to use that. So rather than dipping my baby wipe into the actual paint, I'm just using some paint off my lid. So I'm going to pick up a bit of paint on my baby wipe, and then put it on my background. Now, by using a baby wipe, you use a lot less paint because the moisture from the wipe is helping you spread that paint onto your project, and it also helps you get a nice thin layer of paint. So that's what makes these paints different from some of the other paints, is they are quite a thin paint. So you can build up layers of color without building up layers in your book. If you've used Dina's paints from Ranger, hers are a heavy body paint, and so they hold texture, whereas these paints are to be used to build up really thin layers. So we have our first layer. It's really quick to put paint on using a baby wipe. Now because it's such a thin layer, it doesn't take very long to dry, but I'm just going to hit it with the heat gun just to make sure it's dry. So next I am going to spray some of the dilution sprays. I'm going to work on a paper towel just for ease of cleanup. This is the Tangled Web stencil from the Crafter's Workshop. And I'm going to use this Squeezed Orange dilution sprays. So I had a bit of color on my stencil there, that's why it's another color, but it's fine. And then I'm just going to dab off some of the excess. Cat fur. I'll need my little tool to pick it up, I think. I want my cat fur off my project. There we go. And already you can tell it's pretty dry, but again, I'm just going to hit it quickly. So I'm going to just show you a couple art journal pages I made before I move on to the next step. So on this page here, I've done those 2 steps already. I had the yellow background I sprayed with orange, and then I used red pink over this Be in Love stencil. So I just put it straight on and used the red paint over the whole stencil. Then I did another art journal page. So again, it was the yellow background. This time I sprayed with sort of like a green. But instead of using this whole, I used the love just sort of as a word on the page. But I took all these elements and moved them around my page. So it just shows you a couple ways to use this Be in Love stencil. So back to what we're working on here. I'm going to do this sort of the second way. So this time I'm going to use the Bubblegum Pink. I'm just going to tip it over to make sure some of that paint gets on the lid. And I'm going to use the same baby wipe. Pick up some pink. And then I'm using all these little circle designs and just rubbing the paint into the stencil. Now I can turn it and overlap this one a bit. And the baby wipe is good to use with the stencils as well because it gets right down into those crevices. And there's this one here I can use. Because the size of my project, I'm only using about half of the design. And then I can even use this little flower down here. I'm just working all the way around my project. And I'll finish up with this design. So I have that, and then I can go in with a darker color. Maybe I'll add some turquoise for the word. I have some on my lid there. So I can get this word, put it about here. And I'll just take another part of the same baby wipe. Just going to go back over it a little, make it a little darker. So there we have love, and then I can take my baby wipe and just put it around my edge. Like that. So there we have a technique using the Dylusions paint and a baby wipe. And we use the Tangled Web stencil on the base with the dilution spray, and then the Be in Love stencil, and just another way to use it that you don't have to use the full stencil as is. And I actually have an extra copy of this Dylusions Distinctly Delusional Guide to Art Journaling book to give away. So if you visit our website at www.scraptime.ca and leave us a comment before Sunday, May 17th, 2015 to enter to win a copy of this book. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out our website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm going to be showing you the Spellbinders 3D embossing folders. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.